What's going on, people? Today we're live and we're going to have some discussion, debate um, between a vegan and a carnivore fitness influencer and coach. For the one that don't know me, my name is Stefano. I am a calisthenics coach, animal rights activist, and yes, like we met in the comments. She was very skeptical about veganism, and so she dared to came on the live and talk about her carnivore choices and kind of talk about it. You know, she's been very skeptical towards veganism. I don't know if she's online already. She's not, but yeah. So she was very skeptical, and I think my aim in these. Oh, I think I know. We need to follow each other to do this, maybe. I don't know. She has some problem. I don't know exactly what's going on. But so yeah, my point in this life, I guess, is not necessarily debating, but really understanding her point and where does all skepticism come from. Because I really think that these days, you know, being skeptical about veganism it's crazy, right? It's I don't understand it. As she's on, she's coming. Rachel. I'm not sure if my headphones are going to work. I hope they are. Yes, I've approved. You should be coming.
Morning.
That's Rachel. Hello, Rachel.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you?
I can hear you, yeah, perfectly fine.
That's great. So just give yourself an introduction as a
So
start.
I'm Rachel. Yeah, I'm Rachel. I am 39. I have been on the carnivore diet for 4 years. The diet actually cured all my health issues. So I tend to be at my healthiest when I stay clear of all fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what just so you can go deeper in this, like what did you cure? What were the problems that you have?
So I have a number of issues. The main thing that I was really keen to resolve was my anxiety. I had really bad anxiety to the point where I didn't like leaving the house. I'd make all these different arrangements to go out, and actually then I would cancel them all. And I wasn't going out. I was avoiding all social interaction. I was just staying in. I would be very close to saying I became agoraphobic. And I was quite depressed. I'd say my brain was quite toxic. And then what I found is very quickly after going to the diet, that all resolved. So my brain didn't feel like it was toxic. I had what I like to call carnivore calm, where you feel really calm, even in really stressful situations. Like last year, I had a stressful beginning to the year, but I could do it. It was fine. It was all in my pace. I could handle it. And I think a few years back, that would have been very different. Well, more than a few years. Yeah, so I had also issues with my skin. So I used to have to wear makeup every day, and I would go out with concealer because I didn't like to have my spots on show. But now I don't wear makeup. So I have got mascara on, but other than that, I don't wear makeup. The other things were achy knees, achy joints, and dandruff. There was lots of digestive issues. I know I'm going to be forgetting some. I should have made a list, but yeah, it was every issue that I had has completely resolved. I don't deal with those issues anymore.
And that's great. I mean, I think that's great that you overcame health problems, you know, and I think the point is that all of these issues that you brought up, they are issues that most of the world fight with. And I would say that things like anxiety and stress, they can also go away if you just change your life situation and you organize yourself better. Like, for example, my stress level and anxiety came, came increased as I became an entrepreneur. And I was already vegan, I
Hmm.
wasn't stressed. So, um, and as what knee joint, for example, I work with clients too, and some of them they start with knee problems, and the way we overcome that is through stretching and training. So I don't want to say direct. I'm not saying it's not the carnivore diet. What I'm saying is that all of these problems exist and are addressed in different ways eventually. What I'm curious to know about is why you're skeptical about the vegan diet, because you've been very skeptical in the comment, like say
Yeah,
and I don't want to, and I would like you to be not in the defense side, because like saying things like, oh, you have a tattoo, you have a tattoo, you're not vegan, it seems like a little bit of a argument that doesn't really make sense unless you don't know nothing at all about veganism. But I guess there are stuff that are called vegan products, right? You know that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that. So I think the whole premise of veganism is really difficult. So, if you eat honey, it's not vegan. If you're eating organic produce, which is the best type of produce, that's not vegan. Um, it's very hard to be vegan. And I would like to say that I feel like if I'm eating meat only and I eat just cow, which actually I have reintroduced chicken lately, so I'm not as clean as I would like. But if I was eating just cows, then one cow could feed a family, my family, for a long time, depending on obviously our diets. But it could be up to a year. One cow, that's one death. And if that cow is grass fed, there's actually just one death. So Alan Savory came up with a type of farming, regenerative farming, where basically they take the livestock and they get the livestock to move around the field at different points of year. And this actually keeps the biodiversity. So none of the bugs need to be killed, none of the grass needs to be sprayed. Everything is just very natural.
Okay. So here's the thing. Like, if you are taking that kind of animal agriculture into an example, you cannot then go and say, a vegan doesn't make sense because you go to the supermarket. No. Why don't we compare it with the same ethic of agriculture towards vegetables? In that case,
Okay.
you would have no pesticides, you wouldn't have to kill any animals. You just go to the place and you pick up apples. So if you take these two situations that are kind of similar at the same level, you know, then choosing to eat the cow is still killing that animals. Like, what do you think about animals? Like, do you care about them?
I do care about animals, but I know my place in the food chain and I'm comfortable with it. So I know that as animals, we eat other animals. And that is actually just our proper human diet. And if you don't do that, you harm yourself and you harm others around you.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't feel like I'm harming myself with in 5 years
But
being.
I'm
I've
going to
been
try and
vegan.
keep it
I've been vegan
respectful.
5 years.
I feel like you may be using supplements. I'm going to keep it as respectful as possible. I have family members that use the same supplements, and I feel like those supplements aren't actually vegan either, but I'm going to keep it respectful. And I feel like if you didn't have those supplements, it'd be a very different story.
Understand. So it's a very unethical argument to make from you. Like, I don't use any steroids. I do take creatine. I take B12 and vitamin D. And the other one is algae supplement, which I don't take recently, but that's usually in supplement. I guess you meant steroids when you use the word supplements. And no, I've been. If you go to my Facebook, you will, because usually what you do when you kind of judge, and I'm not an expert in steroids, but Greg Doucette is a person that I always look forward to. Is very honest in his steroid use, and has been natural for a long period of time before taking steroids and competing in bodybuilding. And what it does is it looks at genetics, like how was this person looking when he was 16. So now I'm 29. I've been training for 15 years, and I'm 176 centimeters. I weigh 83 kilograms, but I'm leaner. I'm not that crazy. And if you look at my genetics, so just to give you a point, I don't use supplements.
Yeah.
However,
I mean, to me, there's some telltale signs that I look for. The traps and other things that I kind of take a mental note on. But obviously, if you're saying you don't, then that's what I've got to take on board. So
yeah, but anyway, like even though because we were talking more about health, like how does steroids promote health? I mean, I think steroids actually, if you do use steroids, you have some health problem in the long term.
you can do, especially if you overdo it. People can really trip themselves up, especially if they're eating inflammatory foods. And I feel like the foods are where it's at. And if you're eating lots of inflammatory foods, then you will trip yourself up.
Okay, so
like with me, so I'm 10 years older than you, right? I don't feel like I look 10 years older than you. I don't feel like I'm 10 years older than you. I'm very I'm very healthy. I'm well. I'm mentally very stable. It's very hard for anyone to offend me. It's very hard for me to be triggered. I'm very balanced. So I think those are really good indicators of health.
Yeah, in fact, I think I kind of said this in the beginning. I don't when I talk about veganism, I don't say be vegan because it's the best for necessarily for your health, even though nowadays we have the organization of the American Organization of Dietitians, it's called something like this. That's the biggest dietitian and nutritionist organization in the world. They have clearly stated that a vegan diet is healthy at all stages of life.
The board, yeah. Unfortunately, the members on that board were all ethical vegans, so it really shouldn't have come forward.
That's absolutely not true. 100,000 dietitian and nutritionists, and they were all not vegan at all. Like that's coming from a group of specialists.
If we look at the
World Health Organization. It's again?
If we look at the studies as meat causes cancer, I've looked at quite a few of those studies, and what you'll find is
no. Wait. I don't care about that. I don't care. I'm saying that vegan is recognized as an healthy diet. Okay, I'm actually saying that you can be healthy if you have some meat in your diet and some animal products. Okay, so what I'm saying is,
I'm saying it's not unhealthy.
Huh?
So you're not saying that meat is unhealthy?
No, I mean I think saying that having some animal products at some percentage in your diet is going to cause you health issues, I think it's not correct, because you need to look at the whole picture, right? As I said, I've been omnivore, and I was training, and I was healthy, I was competing, right? In Italy, for example, we do eat a lot of vegetables and meat. There's a lot of vegetarian, let's say, recipes, and people grow up and they are healthy. So I think that when we look at most world population and say and see that they are healthy, and then says it's the fault of this specific food, I think that doesn't make sense, because physical activity is one of the most important factors in your health, and most world population does not work out. So I think it's about balance, and I think I do think that a vegan diet can promote even more health because it's deprived from saturated fat and cholesterol. Like, and I know maybe you have your opinion on this, but
Obviously,
what I want to know is, do you agree that if the two diets are possible, then it's cruel to kill an animal when you can eat plants?
no, I don't. And the reason why I don't is because, like I said, I'm comfortable in my place in the food chain. I know that animals eat animals and we are animals, and that's what we need to do to survive. So, yes,
So
vegans
what?
can survive
So why?
for some time.
But what do you mean when you
I'd like
say?
to finish my point. You can carry on with your second question, and then I'd like to finish my point.
Okay, no, finish your point.
Yeah, so I feel like the thing with what I see regularly with vegans is they will say that they're really doing really well and they've, reached this amazing health with veganism. And then all of a sudden they become ex-vegan and they tell all these problems. They've got this autoimmune, disease, this, and this, and they've got a number of health problems and their health collapses. Obviously, I don't know if you've ever heard of Leah Keith, but she talks about the collapse of her health and how she has to now wear morphine patches daily because her bones degenerated so much
Hmm.
on the vegan diet.
Yeah.
And she used to be such a big vegan advocate that she would do talks and seminars and, all that kind of stuff. And she was very well respected and regarded in the community. She's now, I believe she's doing carnivore now and being able to reduce her medication, which is amazing because obviously if you're eating less animal products and you're deficient, you are susceptible to getting illnesses. When you get illnesses, you are relying on medication. Those medications are tested on animals. So you are actually harming animals in that route by having to take
Hmm.
medications. Supplements, they're tested on animals. So if you're taking supplements, those kind of things. I mean, unfortunately, nature, real life nature is pretty cruel. If you ever see a praying mantis kill their prey, they literally grab it. And I saw something earlier, I think it was a moth, something like that. It's just holding it and
Yeah.
eating it alive, one
Yeah.
eyeball at a time.
Can you do
That's
that?
nature. Do I need to do that?
Can you do that
It's a silly argument. It's a
with
silly argument. I am going to learn.
with your bare hand? Can you do that?
We have hands for tools. Praying mantis
Yeah, but
has the tools
if you
within.
say you are meant to be a carnivore, then you should have natural tools to do
No,
that.
difference is we have hands for tools. We've always made tools. If you go back in history, you'll find spear marks in the bone of animals. You'll find cave paintings of people eating meat, never a salad. So no, I am going to learn how to hunt and do all those things soon. I
Yeah,
was actually meant to do it.
there's um, surely like hunting is the most famous one, but humans haven't been only hunting. If you are closer to the equator, the center, when there is better chances to have fruits, people these days, like if you go to tribe, they're not all hunting. They hunt sometimes, but most of their diet is coming from grains. But
And
but
what you realise with those populations is an increase in health issues. So they now have heart disease. They now have all these different
what
issues.
about Indians? They've been vegetarian forever.
They've got the highest population of diabetes. Yeah. So it's not doing very well.
What do you mean? Like diabetes is something common everywhere in the world. America is probably
No,
has probably got the highest one.
I believe that India. So if you look at world populations, for longevity, the longest living population is Hong Kong, and they also eat the most meat per capita. So I know you don't want to put it as health, you want to put it as ethical, but I think being ethical, you need to be ethical to yourself, your children, and anyone else that you're making eating a vegan diet that's deficient. And it is deficient because you have to rely on supplements. And those supplements are tested on
Honestly,
animals.
like saying that vegan is unhealthy is just honestly lack of information. Like if you want to believe that, it's fine. I mean, you have one of the strongest people that you've been talking with in front of you. Okay, like doing three sets of 5 pull-ups with 40 kilograms attached to my waist is if that's not health, I don't know what it is. I do kickboxing 4 times per week. I go for a run. I've been vegan 5 years. I fight. Okay, I don't take steroids. I take very little amount of supplements. I um I'm a healthy individual. I've been training. I'm a coach, and I've been helping more than 200 vegans to build muscles and feel better because they didn't have good habits. Again, I'm not saying veganism is the key. I think is it's a group of things that you need to implement in your life. But when you say that we are animals and therefore you are justified to kill an animal, um, why do you only take that part of nature? Like, for example, like we know that we don't come from carnivores. We definitely know that we come from chimpanzees, and that those animals are frugivores. So why do you take lion as an example for a behavior you would do in normal society? Because then if you do that, then you can justify anything else. Lions rape each other in the wild. Lions smell their own
Yeah.
asses when they meet, right? So why do you use what lions do to antelope to justify you disrespecting animals? Because you say you do respect animals, so but when you kill them, you
We're
definitely
clearly,
disrespect
we're
them.
clearly, yeah, we're clearly not lions, and I never suggested that we are. I suggested that I am comfortable with my place on the food chain, and that death is part of that. I mean, there's death in your diet, and I know you wouldn't like to admit that, but there is death in your diet. So, and actually, what people find when I've looked into experts that actually work in the field of, farmers, they will actually say that there's more deaths in crops than there is in animal agriculture. And then the vegans will come forward and say, oh, but animals use crops and all that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
That,
actually, I
that
have
that
a
that doesn't make
breakdown.
sense for you? I mean,
No,
it's
I have a breakdown. I have the stats. I have a
okay.
breakdown. So 55% of global cropping goes to human consumption.
But
15%
that's
for
that's
biofuel.
wrong. Where did you get that? In
This
America?
is from someone in the actual field who's a farmer who specializes in this. 25% for livestock.
Um,
2% of that are grown specifically for the livestock. 23% of that is failed crops that were grown for humans that then aren't up to, because our plants have to apparently look perfect. So those ones that aren't perfect, they go to the livestock. So actually the livestock are recycling what we don't use. They use a lot of byproducts, so products that us humans don't eat. So again, that's recycling and reusing. Instead of these things going to landfill, they're actually consuming them and
I mean,
making use of.
you can okay look at the number. I think that's misinformation to start with. So this is one person, but
Okay.
if you look at the official website, the numbers are much higher for the crops that go to animals, and that's it. I mean, I personally, this is where I get kind of very skeptical about the intelligence of people that try to debunk veganism. So you are saying that we have 7 billion humans in the world. We have in the farm animal industry, we have 70 billion animals and 3 trillion fish, marine animals. So that's 3 trillion and 70 billion. And you're saying that it's more sustainable to feed all of these animals with plants and then kill those animals and give them as food to humans rather than grow plants and give them directly to humans. Like the logic here is completely off. It doesn't make any sense at
No,
all.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that as a vegan, you should be pushing for regenerative farming because that's the least animal deaths for food consumption. So
Well, the
I did have some numbers.
regenerative farming is animal, still meat, right? Or
Yeah, yeah. But it's the least deaths. That's how you get the least animal deaths, is by doing regenerative farming, and you get the most amount of calories and nutrients.
And what
Um,
about just growing plants and eat the plants in a non-toxic and destructive way?
do you grow your own plants? Do you grow your own plants?
No, I don't.
So if you did grow your own plants, you'd realize that you have to kill slugs and whatever else that are trying to
Absolutely, absolutely.
eat the crop.
That's absolutely not true. You know, you have there is a story of a dairy farmer in the U.S. That realized that it's wrong to abuse animals, and he started to grow his own. I don't know. I don't remember what vegetable he did, but
Used to stop
it does
stop
it.
ki- what does it use the animals from eating the crops?
It definitely doesn't kill them. I know I
But
wouldn't
what
kill
does he
them.
use?
I would.
But what does
I
he
don't know. I
use?
don't know the details. I don't know the details. What do you mean?
Because
What
there
did you
has to
use?
be some
Pests?
kind of method.
Huh?
So if you've got a whole field of crops and you're looking at those crops, right? And the crop's up really high, there's animals in there. When they spray those crops with pesticides, that is to kill the bugs, and it kills the bees, and it
Ah, but
kills all
you
the
can
insects, and it
cultivate
strips
without
the environmental
pesticides
health.
too.
Okay, so they're using something else then. What are they using? Because if you've got a whole field of food, animals are going to eat it.
But like here's what you're doing. Uh,
No, I'm just being real.
you're trying
I'm
to
just
find
asking you.
you're trying to find the bad in plant agriculture that to justify killing animals rather than look like what the vegan mentality would do is, all right, let's stop murdering, enslaving, and killing animals, and let's find solution. Now, the best solution, if you want to know it, that's not going to get anyone killed, that I know for sure, is indoor uh, plant agriculture. That's something that exists in the cities. They do this a lot. It's actually much more sustainable. They give the nutrients directly to the plants through water. I think something like that. I don't really know about it, but I'm just giving you an example that
I don't like that
here's the point.
example.
Here's the point. Like you can uh, get down veganism and eating plants to picking up an apple to the tree. You cannot reduce suffering of meat consumption without cutting an animal's throat. So if you choose the other path, then you decide that you are abusing animals. I'm not asking you like, would you eat dogs too? Like, do you put animals on the same level?
If I was in a country, if I lived in a country that was their normal and that was their part of their culture, then I'm sure I would. But I don't need to do that. There's no need for me to do that here. I mean, just literally 10 minutes down the road, there's a field full of sheep, black sheep. They're very happy in a big field, just roaming around all day, eating the grass. I just feel like with yourself and with other vegans, you ignore the crop deaths, which are pretty horrendous. So if we go through the life cycle of the
I
crop
don't
deaths,
ignore that.
you've got
I don't ignore crop deaths. The thing
okay.
the the thing is the thing is we are in a civilized society and we are trying to have a positive change here. All right. So animal abuse is at the base of society, and by being vegan, you're doing what's most practical to reduce the suffering. Because again, you cannot compare me going to the supermarket and pay for whatever crop that's to you living in the mountain and this sheep that eat grass, because that's not reality of things. It's not the right comparison. You need to compare what everyone in the world is doing with what vegans is doing. What everyone does. Everyone goes to the supermarket and buys meat. This meat, whether it comes from Europe or whether or comes from the US, the grain comes from the US. 50% of the Amazon forest is gone because of soy crops. These soy crops go to animal feed, 75% of them. And all of these crops include crop deaths. So what about if you're vegan, okay, and you eat from the crops directly, you will need 10 times less land, and there would be less crop debt. So it still makes sense. But if we would change mentality overall, and actually care about animals instead of saying I'm superior and I want to decide what I do with animals because I'm on top of the food chain, which by the way, this is oppressor mentality, meaning you have power, therefore you do, and this is what
It's not. It's
human discrimination. You go
It's
to the
natural.
supermarket, you go to a supermarket. What this is not, we're not natural. You're using a mobile phone. All right. Why? All right. So why do you use nature as a justification?
So this is what
Okay.
I'm going to say.
Are you
We're so
against
far removed from
dog abuse?
nature.
Are you against dog
Wait.
fights?
Let me speak. Let me speak. So we're so far removed from nature that, and we're so of a privileged mindset that we think that it's okay to get our crops flown from all over the world. It's okay to actually kill billions of bees for our avocados. That's okay. To me, that's not okay. I feel like you can get the most calories and nutrient dense wise with the least deaths through eating the carnivore diet. And I actually think that the carnivore diet is the most vegan diet you can be on because it's caused the least harm. And if you're going to go for regenerative agriculture, you
But it doesn't
literally
make
kill the
sense.
animals.
It doesn't make sense. So it doesn't make, so you are.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're
Are you?
stuck in the vegan mind frame, and the veganism is a lie. The whole thing is a lie. It's not better for the environment. It's not better for health, and it doesn't save animals.
Yeah. That's a lot of bad misinformation. So what about what I just said about the Amazon forest? How do you justify your animal agriculture there? 50% of Amazon forest gone. Justify that.
Yeah, so the stats I have are different to the stats that you have. The stats that I have from a specialist was 55% of the crops go to humans, 15% go to biofuel, 5% go to other, and 25% for animal agriculture. And none of to grass finished cows, for instance. So this is what I'm saying. The whole life is what I've been saying is actually the most ethical thing you can do is eat animals that are regeneratively farmed. They have a very good life. They're loved by their farmers. They're very well looked after. They have everything that they need. And if those same animals were in the wild, most of them don't live very long at all, and actually most of them don't live to adulthood because they're eaten by another animal, and those animals eat them alive. They start eating them from the stomach and they're still alive for a while. That's a pretty so the talking about for life is a bolt to the head. No, it's happened and they're dead. And that to me is far more ethical than in nature, where they actually get eaten alive and they feel it, they feel that fear, they know what's happening, but that is natural still. So the animals that I'm saying regeneratively farming is much better than any other type of food, is what I'm saying, because they don't actually feed their animals crops. There's no crops that go to grass-fed, grass-finished.
Yeah, but that way you wouldn't have enough space to grow enough animals because
animal agriculture, there's certain parts of land that you cannot grow crops on, but you can always put animals and they can actually have feed off the grass there. So actually there's parts of the world quite large that you can't grow crops on. So the animals are perfect for those fields because they can graze on those, and they bring back biodiversity. They bring back all the bugs, the birds, the bees, they bring it all back and get it back to how it should be, and they work together.
And what about the other option though? What if we have a perfect plant agriculture that doesn't harm anyone?
So So you're going to start thinking outside of the box and make it really unnatural. Where I'm thinking about things
Well,
that are going back to
I wouldn't stab an animal in the throat, so I don't pay someone to do it. And you say that's love. How can it be love to stab an animal in the throat? What I asked you before is, are you okay with dog fights or bullfighting or other kind
No, of
of
course I'm not.
abuse of
No, of
animal for
course I'm
foreign
not.
that may because it's unnecessary, right?
It's unnecessary, and I don't
And you
feel that
think you
animal
think
farming
animals
is
suffers,
unnecessary.
have emotion, want to live?
So the death of an animal in a slaughterhouse is very quick, and it's a very small part of their life. Yes, it's sad that animals die, so I think we should all appreciate the nutrients we're gaining from that, and we all need to
But you
become
can get the
more.
nutrients somewhere else. That's
You
the point.
can't. So for that apple, for instance, where's the B12 in the apple? B12 is absolutely vital for brain health. Where's the B12? Cholesterol. You're saying
Do
that
you want me to debunk B12, or you can do it yourself because it seems like you talk with enough vegans? Would you want talk where
you're saying
you want to know where actually
no.
B12 comes from? Do you know that? I'm sure you know that.
Yes, you're going to say that it comes from dirt. And do you realise that actually herbivores have to eat their own poo to actually make the B12?
Okay,
Do you
that's
do that?
I guess that's
Do you do
no
that?
because
No, no.
I don't base my life in a civilized I don't base my life in a civilized society based on what happens in nature. I don't do that. Otherwise, we would be raping each other and killing each other
Okay,
still.
well, some humans do that, but let me ask you a question then. Do you think that the vegan diet is the proper human diet?
Yes, I do think that.
If it's a proper human diet, there'd be no deficiencies, you would not need to supplement.
I think that's the thing. Like I think we are very detached to what our natural behavior is. I mean, we are not. You compare ourselves to animals and nature, but it's thousands and thousands of years we have started to take a completely different direction. So, well, yes, I think if I would behave like a monkey, right, then yes, I wouldn't need to supplement, I guess, because I'm
What does a
getting the. I mean,
do? What does
I'm in the
a
sun. I'm under the sun every day and getting my vitamin D. Picking up apples and fruit from the tree, which has got dirt, and I'm going to get my B12. I do exercise, and yeah, I'll be healthy. So that would,
you need cholesterol to synthesize vitamin D. Otherwise, you're not uptaking it. You need cholesterol to be able to raise up your testosterone, for instance. Even a lot of omnivores, people that do eat animal products, they get caught up in this low cholesterol diet, which actually isn't good. And it's starving for the brain. Our brain is 60% fat. We need the fats. With the glucose that we have in our body, we can make that through gluconeogenesis. So it's not something that we have to actually eat. Carbs turn into glucose in the body. You get an overabundance of glucose, which isn't great. Yeah, so I don't. I'm not seeing eye to eye with you on many things.
yeah. I mean, like it was an interesting conversation. I think we covered a lot of points. Maybe I'm just going to thank you for getting on board, Rachel. A lot. I'm just going to go through some of the
Yeah,
comments. Let's see what people say.
okay. I haven't looked at it.
Wow, there's a lot of comments. I never gotten so much action in my lives. That's a lot of comments there.
No, that's not true. I've seen your stories. You definitely get action.
No, yeah, but not on my lives. On my lives, I never had so much. I really crazy. Never ends. Well, I'm just going to start here. So they are very aware what is happening and they are terrified. So that's talking about animals. Then stop being agent, killing your family members for selfish reasons. Sound nothing like love. Still the
This is
same.
very, very emotional and very truth. So
Oh,
what's
well,
going
no,
on?
I think that's true. So how the fuck are we gonna feed the world grass fed like these Yeah. Then grass grows indefinitely and soil has infinite nutrients. I guess this is supporting you. Never wanted to punch so much in my life with their ignorance and arrogance.
Hang
So
on, repeat that.
I think this.
Punch someone.
I think this is.
See, this is the problem. This is the problem with vegans, is that they can't actually have an open debate. So we're humans, right? Human race should come together. It shouldn't be segregated by diet. We should
don't know.
have open conversation.
But I don't know if that's
ridiculous.
I don't know if that's to you, to me, or us, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, same person, can you really say with a straight face that we can practically feed the population with grass-fed?
Yes.
Yes.
It's actually been worked out and proven. If you look at Sustainable-ish, the website, she's done all the numbers on it and she's amazing and she's really done a deep dive in everything.
Then we have humans are designed to eat meat and not plants. Ruminants are rare. Well, actually, most animals in the world are herbivore, most percentage of carnivores. You cannot have animals if you cannot grow plants. Honey, ho honey. You cannot have animals. You cannot have animals if you cannot grow plants. What does this mean?
What did it say? I didn't understand that.
You cannot have animals if you cannot grow plants.
Okay.
This might be supporting me, yes, the fact that plants are necessary. Glad Media, if grass-fed was so easy, why aren't all farmers doing it? Profitable if it worked out.
Because the government stepped in and they changed the way we farm. They heavily subsidize the grain-fed and they don't help house-fed as much. But I mean, I don't know how much of a deep dive you've done into governments, but the governments don't want us well and they don't help us out often. Most advice they give is actually what we need to do the opposite of.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, we don't really have questions here, and I don't think there's a point of reading everything.
I mean, vegan for life, it's just a lie. You're not saving any animals' lives going vegan.
Yeah, well.
And if you grew your own crops, you'd know that, because you'd know that you would need to kill the bugs that are trying to eat the crops. You would know that.
No, I think you're just confused because the decision comes down to this. All right, I give you the option to, with your bare hands, to kill the chicken or eat these other vegan, ethically grown, no crop deaths at all food. What do you choose?
So you said kill an animal with my bare hands, which is rarely done. Hands is to make tools, and we can use those tools. So
you're done. I mean, you've killed animals.
We all have contributed to the death of animals. Everyone.
Oh, that's for sure. But have you ever killed an animal yourself?
I haven't personally killed an animal, but like I said in the beginning of the live, this is something that I'm going to be learning. A friend of mine actually.
But what's the answer? Like, I give you a chicken that you can kill, slaughter. You get off the blood and you do your chicken fillet, or same nutrients from plants.
Not the same.
What do you choose? Okay,
I would go for the chicken. I don't eat plants. So you would go for the chicken.
So you would slaughter the chicken. All right. So yeah. That sounds like you are an animal abuser, and we are trying to protect animals.
I'm not an animal abuser. I'm a realist. I know my place in the food chain.
Well, I don't kill the chicken. I don't kill the chicken. I will stop you. I will stop you from killing the chicken in that moment. That's what I will do. That's the thing. All right, Rachel. So again, actually, it was very, very interesting. do you want to add anything at the end?
It was very interesting. I believe that, as I've said throughout the live, that veganism is a lie, and I believe that it's not more ethical. It's not.
I'm alive.
I mean, if I didn't have this, get up and show you my house, but I've got a dress on today, so I can't. Yeah, I believe that it's not better for the animals, it's not better for the environment, and it's actually leading people into ill health, which actually contributes to emissions more, because people then have to turn to the medication, big pharma, and get on all of that stuff.
I don't take medications, and also like the you know.
Keep doing what you're doing, and you will. Keep doing what you're doing. How many years have you? Come on, Stefan, you never said what your story is. So how long have you been vegan for?
5 years.
Okay. And what was your story? Why did you go vegan?
So it started. Well, I'm making short. It started with the environment. So I basically became, let's say, plant-based rather than vegan. I wasn't motivated from the ethics of it. But I basically eat almost 100% plant-based. Only animal products that I was eating was once per year, and there was fish, just because that was the one food that I really liked the taste, like prawns and fish. And I just loved the taste of fish, so I didn't want to give that up, and I thought I was doing good myself. And if everyone would eat like me, like we would have less problem with the environment. I know you don't care, but don't debate that.
I believe that's a lie. I believe it's a lie.
That's fine.
That's fine. Crops being sprayed by herbicides are better than a field full of cows on grass. It's a complete lie.
That's fine.
I mean, so if you was to go into a garage, right, lock yourself into a garage with a cow.
We're not debating anymore. We're closing this. I'm just answering the question. So I was very delusional, thinking that I was doing something good with the environment. Okay. And then 3 years later, I have stopped again and watched what happens in animal agriculture, and I adopted a dog. And I was looking at the two things, and I realized that my dog was just there, living her life. It'd be very cruel to put in a glass chamber to make some chicken nuggets and dog nuggets in this case. And that ignited my fire in me, and I decided that I wanted to be an animal rights activist, because I also realized that animals are not below us. I think we are here with them. They can give us a lot of love if we respect them. Not the lions. I guess lions will still eat us. And yeah, that's my short story. Yeah. I did wanted to ask something at the beginning.
I want to start the debate again. Okay.
Just quickly, the vegan that went carnivore. How long has he been vegan?
Okay, so I have like a friendship group, and there were, I've never counted, but say 10 vegans, and they've all actually one of them just joined. They're all ex-vegan now, and they're either on the carnivore diet or they're heavily meat-based, they are finding issues, so they're resolving all their health issues.
You're basically the. That's a bit to hear.
As human to human, you should be saying, wow, that's really good that people are improving their health, and the difference.
Yeah, but the thing. And then well, I mean, the debate is finished, so I'm not going to answer. We can do this another time maybe, with better questions and more information. Who knows? And all right, so I guess if you believe in carnivore, go follow Rachel. If you believe in veganism, come follow me. And that's it. It was great. Thank you for coming. I will post, of course, the live. I'm also recording. Perfect. I'm also recording the screen, so there is a better resolution, and I'm going to put it on YouTube. And
perfect.
I can. Google Drive with the full resolution. Okay.
Thank you very
All right.
much. Okay.
So, good one. Ciao.
Yeah, and you. Bye.
Wow, 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 guys.